everybody. Welcome to the podcast.
Hey, Mike. How are you?
Another week.
Morning.
Another week.
Yeah.
Another great week it is.
Another great week. Yeah. Yeah. It's Monday morning, of course, when we record this. And so
It feels like a Monday today.
it does like a
It's
Monday.
every bit of Monday.
For the last week, every morning has felt like a Monday for me. It's been,
well, fair.
I don't know what's up, but like I get up every morning. I'm a morning person.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I'm usually up a couple of minutes before my alarm, and I have an early alarm. And so I'm usually awake, and actually my feet hit the floor, right when the alarm goes off. And so, but the last week, it's
Not
like
so
the
much.
alarm goes off, and I'm like, no.
Hit that snooze.
Yeah, which is not like me at all.
that 9-minute
I
snooze.
think,
that Apple
I think there's something that happens about our age that things start transitioning, right?
Wait, are you calling me old?
Okay. We're the same age. I said our age. Our age.
I know.
Our age. I didn't say we were old. I just said our age. I don't know, because I feel like I'm going the other way. Like I'm usually a night owl. Like I'll stay up late, but now like nighttime it start like 9:30 hits and it's like I got to go to bed.
No, I've always been like that.
So-
Yeah.
But that's new.
No.
And
Okay.
Even in
I don't know,
college, I
maybe-
was like an old man, like, going to bed at 9.
I did too, but we
Interesting.
played sports and you had to be
Yeah,
at workouts
yeah,
at
that's
5
right.
in the morning.
Uh-huh,
And if you were late, you were off the team. So there was
That's right.
zero.
That's right.
I was singing a ton in college, and if I don't get enough sleep, like my voice is one of the first places that I feel it.
Wow.
Maybe that's why I've never been able to sing. Never had enough sleep.
Could be.
Think if I try to sleep a little bit more, you let me sing on a Sunday morning?
You can sing on a Sunday morning now.
All right.
Just make a joyful noise.
That's one of my greatest fears, that they're going to cut my mic on while I'm
While
singing.
you're singing,
That's a legitimate fear.
It is a legitimate
Yeah.
fear
Yeah.
because, listen to me, I am making absolutely the joyful noise to the Lord, and it's loud. And if that mic ever came on, it would be a terrible thing for all the people that are going to listen to it.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe not.
Maybe
Yeah.
not.
Maybe
yeah,
not.
Joyful
it hasn't
noise.
happened yet. I mean, in how many years? So
Yeah. There's also another fear that we have, some nice, fun, kind, and shady cast of characters who are upstairs in the booth. And my fear is that they are recording my singing without it going out. I have a friend named Tony Morita. If you guys are in the preaching world, you know Tony. He was in Hattiesburg for a while. And his tech team, of course, it's not going out. It's not being broadcast out to the church, but they recorded his singing on a Sunday morning. And back in the day when you had CDs, they made remember Wow Worship?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They made
no.
a Tony Morita Wow Worship
No.
CD, and they
That's awesome.
sold it for a missions fundraiser
That's what I'm talking
to
about.
the church.
No.
And it was full songs of him just absolutely tone deaf, blaring, him singing.
is he on board with this?
No, no, he knew nothing about it until they put it in they had a store at Temple then. People
wow.
were buying the CD before Tony found out about it. Now
Hey,
he
did
is
they
he's
retain their
hilarious.
jobs?
Yeah,
That's-
he's hilarious. Like he's funny, but to know him is to say, I could bet you couldn't sing. But anyway, they did that. And so that's a fear now that we're going to have a Wow Worship 2026.
Hey, let me just assure you, I will never do that to you.
Thank you, Mike.
Yep.
I appreciate that. Still going to live there. I'm an anxious person. So
I'm not saying Johan won't do that to
Yes.
you, but I would
Yeah,
never
yeah.
do that to you. So.
we'll have to lay holy hands on people
Yeah.
in Jesus' name.
Hey, we've got Thomas Lister on the podcast today. So
Yeah.
Thomas, it's good to have you.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Our
yeah.
children's
Awesome to hear.
pastor, we're so excited that you're here today, man, and all that you do for us and all that you
Excited to
did
be here.
yesterday. It was a big day for us because of much of your leadership. So
was
thank
a
you.
big
Yeah.
Yeah, our
Yeah.
kids did an amazing job. Preschoolers, kids, students.
Yeah.
Super awesome morning of worship.
It was so good, and I love the fact that that we have these Sundays that, where we utilize, I mean, not just high schoolers. And so, which,
Right.
did a lot of the line reading and, or, the dramatic parts of what we did yesterday. But also including the kids and the preschoolers and all of that into the morning. It was really special.
Yeah. Yeah. I think one of my favorite things about the journey is it does draw our attention to Holy Week, right?
Right.
As we're headed toward Easter, it's one of the opportunities that we have as a church to kind of go, hey, this is really what this is all about.
Yep.
Not just Holy Week, but this is what our living, our Christianity,
Right.
everything that we embrace, this is what it's about. It's about what Jesus has done for us. And so I think it's just a cool opportunity to turn our attention there as we're headed toward Easter. And they did. I think they did a great job of just kind of walking us through an overarching view of what happens this this final week, all of the suffering that Jesus went through, so that we could live, right?
Yeah,
and so, yeah, they did a great job.
I do
job
want
leading.
us to talk about Holy Week here in a few minutes because we are in it.
Right.
But favorite moments from yesterday.
Oh,
You guys go. I'll reserve mine.
I have a couple. Well, they're all connected. So I love watching our kids worship. So there's a few moments. I was in the choir loft. You know, you couldn't see me. I was hiding behind the wall. But a few moments where there was genuine worship happening. And for a first through fifth grader to do that, it's super awesome to be a part of. So all throughout the morning, hopefully we were worshiping, but specifically those moments were my favorites.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah.
There's so many things that I could talk about right now. I think one of my favorite things is the students that were on the stage, right? If you know them outside of that, right? There's some really fun folks out there that you would be like, oh wow, that's and to see them take this seriously and to deliver those lines and lead us into those moments of worship is just really an incredible thing.
Yeah.
I think an encouragement to other students, like that's a great way to get involved. And I know messengers do a couple of different things, even if you just like volunteer for this thing, right? But to see those students get up there and take it seriously and know the weight of it was just a really cool moment to watch them lead in that. And so
a lot of
I thought
them,
that
it was
really
their
good.
first time ever
Yes.
with messengers.
Yeah, I talked to
On
Lillian
the stage.
Kraft. I talked to Lillian
Yeah.
Kraft after the service, and she said, a lot of the regulars were out because
That's
I
right.
guess this weekend there was a lot of competitions or
Yeah.
something in all the schools.
Yeah.
But and she said, half of them were just terrified.
Yeah.
But they did so well. Like, you
Yeah.
would have never
Yeah.
done it.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good point too. A lot of times in the past, it's been our high school students that have led through that. You had several middle schoolers. You had one sixth grader up there, and like I said, did a fantastic job
they did.
in doing that. So
And the messengers was involved the day before at the Easter egg
at
hunt.
the Easter egg hunt
Yeah.
as well.
A lot of sixth graders, other sixth graders got involved for that. So it was a big weekend for messengers.
Which was great. And,
Yeah.
puppeteering is not an easy task, right? So it takes some skill and some practice. And it's fun to see. Yeah, we did puppets growing up at New Palestine. That was one of the big ministries that we had. And to watch that, it seems like in some ways a dying skill or a craft or a ministry kind of not only be revived, but to be well loved. Like to watch those kids mesmerized
Yeah.
By those
by
puppets,
the puppets and the way that they were going. So super cool.
Sarah, my almost 2-year-old, we got some work to do here, but she kept saying, Jesus, pointing at the puppets. So she wanted Jesus to be there, but thinking about puppets.
Yeah,
So,
and to be fair, I wanted Jesus to be there
Me too.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, Josh, favorite moments from
Yeah,
yesterday?
favorite moments. There were a couple, right? So to watch my kids get to do some stuff and to see them do it confidently, which again, I'm very thankful that they did. But that is a more an applaud to the leaders who led them, like to get them ready, to make them excited, because that room's scary for anybody. Right. Like when you get there and it's empty and it's dark, you're like, oh, that's so fun. It's just a big room. But when you have 2,000 people staring at you, that's a whole nother thing. They didn't miss a beat, right?
Yeah.
So Lydia down front with little palm branches. It was great. Mary Joy in the back. And the fact that, like, if you know my daughter, and I know many other people have kids like her who are ADHD to the nth degree, to ask them to sit still for 6 minutes is an insurmountable task.
Right.
They sat still for an hour.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
And they did it beautifully.
Yeah,
it
they
was
did.
so good. So favorite moment. Second favorite moment is at the end of the service when Shay walked up on
yeah,
stage. I didn't know Shay was going to walk up on stage. I'm not quite sure Shay knew Shay was going to walk up on
Right.
stage. But I'm trying to, in the service, I got a lot of announcements to walk through, some thank yous and some announcements getting ready for Easter weekend that's coming up. And I look over and Shay's walking up. I was like, oh boy.
When you walked up and I saw him following you, I thought, oh, Josh doesn't know he's behind him.
Nope, I did not. But it was great. I love Shay.
It was good. Yeah.
Yeah, and Shay, Shay is a part of our Grace Ministry, and really like here every week, and is
You can see him
outgoing.
greeting a lot of mornings.
Yeah, he helps. And,
Yeah.
and in his mind, and it's true, he is a helper. And he helps with the greeting ministry. He helps sometimes with the coffee and the donuts.
Yep.
And sometimes he helps with the announcements. I'm waiting on him to help with the preaching.
that's
One
right.
day it'll all come
But
full
he,
circle.
like in that, like his, hey, I'm thankful for my church, my Sun
Yeah.
Valley friends, my staff. Like
Yep.
it was a really cool moment to hear him. Like he's very thankful for this church and the ministry that it does, like genuinely.
Yeah.
And then I think the other thing is at the end where you said we're going to pray for you,
Yeah.
and he mimicked
Yeah, he did.
almost every word that you said. And I think there's something to that, right? That whole idea of as we live life alongside one another, like what a great, beautiful picture that is to, if we're pursuing Christ, to mimic one another in that. Like it's just interesting. Paul said, do as I do.
That's
Yeah,
right.
So how nervous were you when he said, I want to say something?
Always nervous. And if I had to do it again, I probably wouldn't have taken my mic off to say, okay, what did you want to say? But I did, and it was a moment.
And it was a moment.
I was cringing, just to see. Who knows what he was going to say? I love what he said, but
Yeah.
Right.
you just
It
never
ended
know with anybody.
I probably won't do that again. But it was great. Thank you,
okay.
Lord, for vision.
Yeah.
This is
So-
great. Fun day yesterday.
Absolutely.
Hey, so we've been talking about the fact that it was a next gen sort of led Sunday, and Thomas, I mean, you lead a significant portion of our next gen ministry and kids, and since you're here and you're not normally here, I'd love if you just take a couple of minutes and tell us about kids ministry, maybe what's on the horizon, vision. I know you got a new staff person, so tell us
right.
about her. And
Yeah, so we just had Abby Cook join our team as the kids ministry associate. She comes from a teaching background, but also has ministry experience as in college. So we're super excited to have her join our team, and I can already tell she's going to be
She's
super
great.
impactful for our kids and
She and
their
her husband
families.
both.
Yeah, let me say something about. I was watching her on Wednesday night, kind of post rehearsal, just watching her interact with kids. And I turned to, I was talking with her husband Jameson, and I turned to him. I was like, "That is awesome, right there." I was like, just watching her get to know and be on their level. Like it was so many good things. I think she's going to be a great add to our team.
I think I already told Sean and Josh this, but I can already tell she has deep care for our kids and their discipleship. So I'm super excited to see where the future of our kids ministry. And we're actually working on a new next gen strategy. Just it's not all new, but it's new on paper. So the kids portion of that I'm super excited about.
Yeah.
And each ministry in Next Gen has a focus. And so for kids, our focus is discovery, because it has to do with what kids are doing developmentally. And so kind of our purpose statement is we want to partner with families to help kids discover who God is and how he wants them to live.
Yeah.
And so we're going to do that through 4 ways. You want to hear the 4 ways?
Please.
Give us the
Yeah,
four.
come on.
4 ways. We want
Love
to
this.
build a firm biblical foundation. We want to communicate the gospel clearly. And then we want to introduce and normalize spiritual habits. And then finally, we want to help kids connect biblical truth to their everyday life. And so
That's great.
as kids are in kids ministry, 1st through 5th grade, they're going to be doing all 4 of those things, a few more, but that's the main focus for kids.
Yeah, that's great.
Thomas, that's great, man. Thank you
Good stuff.
for leading us in that and leading our kids. As a dad who has 2 kids in your ministry, man, I'm so excited that they get to sit under your leadership and your pastoral tutelage, to speak a fun word, that you
is a
truly
fun
get
word.
to shepherd them. I know it's so fun.
Can't say that in kids ministry. Everybody.
Talk about toodles, but tutelage. The fact that
I like to call it fartilage, actually.
Oh, wait. All right. But in that road that you just laid for us, you get to be the lead guy who gets to bring them along. So very much thankful for you and how you put big dreams, because we know you love to dream, into action. And so thank you for doing that.
Yeah, and I'm so excited about. Just the overarching next gen strategic plan that we're working on, and I know,
Yeah.
Sean, you're guiding your team through a lot of that. But I love, what we plan and hope to provide to parents and to those involved in the Next Gen ministry is a comprehensive strategy. Like, so if you start as a bed baby with Broadmoor and go through high school graduation, here's what you can expect from the church in terms of what we're trying to accomplish. And we know that each age graded ministry is unique.
That's right.
And there's a unique target and focus in each of those areas. But we also want to be intentional about how we're handing those things off.
Yeah, that's right.
The resources that we're providing for parents. And so it's a lot of work, but you guys are...
Oh, yeah. It's a lot of fun work. The team's been doing a lot of work there. I've been working with adult discipleship. So what's really cool is we've gotten to a place where we're talking about that overlap between Next Gen and adult, and what does that look like? So if I have someone emerge from my ministry, from babies to high school, when they emerge from that, what is our intended outcome? Like, we can't control that every person ends up there, but we can lay the groundwork for them to engage biblical truth, to look at application of their life, to serve, those kinds of things. And so we've identified, what does that person look like if they're willing to engage the things, not only in our ministries, but also as families, that as they engage that, this is the intended outcome or the result of those discipleship efforts. And so that's cool. And then adults are working on this whole idea of like, where does it go from there? And so, so a lot of fun work going on right now, kind of behind the scenes that everybody doesn't always get to see, but good work. And so
can't wait to roll it out to the entire church, but still a little work to be done before we do that. Hey, so all right, let's get into some conversation about Holy Week and things like that. So, we are in it. And, so Sunday, of course, was Palm Sunday. We're coming up on Easter weekend, Resurrection Sunday. And, I think this is interesting because, I grew up as a Baptist and, a lot of people in our church did as well. And, historically, at least in my experience, Baptists don't really we don't really follow kind of a strict liturgical calendar like a lot of other denominations might. Yet, there might be some things there that that are helpful to us. I mean, obviously, if the church, the Big C Church, has been observing some of these things for centuries, right? And we're not. Maybe there's some things that we could learn from it. Yeah. I know last week you shared that you observe Lent, which is something I would be willing to bet most Baptists don't.
Yeah. So Lent's great, right? So and put this in perspective, right? Anything, and hear me out. I'm a Southern Baptist. I love being a Southern Baptist. I serve a Southern Baptist church. I get a Southern Baptist paycheck. I get all the things that are great about Southern Baptist, all wonderful. I'm not looking to leave the Southern Baptist anytime soon. I'm going to caveat that with this. Anything in Christianity that is new, you should be suspect of, at least. You don't have to throw it out. You don't have to say, ooh, I don't like that. But at least say, why in 2,000 years do we think we needed to have recreated something into something else, right? Southern Baptist life is only about 100 years old, 150 at best, depending on when you want to decide when we take on the name Southern Baptist, right? We're 150 years old at the oldest, right? That's brand new in the scheme of Christianity. Right. That is brand new. And so whenever, and the reason I say that is, I think the best thing we can do is approach ecumenical. We'll use another fun word, right? So tutelage, ecumenical. When other people are using their different denominational background, tendencies, characteristics, and we look at that and say, well, we don't need to do that. Well, if they've been doing it for about 1,500 years and we've been doing it about 5 minutes, we probably could use a little bit more humility in us to say, hey, can you tell me a little bit more about why you do that? Why do you find Lent to be so important? Why even on Ash Wednesday to start Lent, why do you put ashes on your head in the sign of a cross? Yeah. And why do you go out around town? Because doesn't Jesus say, if you're going to fast, don't let your fast be known? Like help me understand. Instead of us being presumptuous, or that would be the better side. Yeah. Instead of us being arrogant to say, I don't need to do that. Let's just be a little curious. Let's be a little bit humble and say, There's some denominations who've been following Jesus longer than we could even consider what a Southern Baptist was, right? Not saying Southern Baptist is a bad thing. I love being one. But there are some things that we can understand. So back to Lent. Lent is a time for us to prepare our hearts and our minds for this moment, for Easter, for Resurrection Sunday. You guys made the comment, and it is absolutely true. The reason we focus so much on Holy Week as a whole, that culminates in the resurrection of Jesus Christ, is because without this being true, nothing else matters. If Jesus doesn't raise from the dead, then his death is pointless.
Right.
His life is pointless. His birth is pointless. So Christmas doesn't matter. The life of Christ doesn't matter if he doesn't raise from the dead. And it is because of him raising from the dead, it is the cornerstone in Christ. He is the cornerstone, and that is the central moment in our faith that sets everything else up. That's why when we took the Lord's Supper yesterday, and why Paul writes in 1 Corinthians 11, whenever we take the Lord's Supper, we are proclaiming his death. We're not proclaiming his life. We're not even proclaiming his resurrection. We're proclaiming his death, because in his death is where we find our life and where we find eternal security, right? Because of what Jesus did. So I say all that to say, Lent is a beautiful time for us to take something. A lot of times Catholics are going to take meat, particularly red meat, and they're not going to eat it for 40 days, or at least technically on Fridays. They're not going to eat it on Fridays, and instead they're going to eat fish. And so, being from South Mississippi, technically that is Louisiana North, okay, from where I'm from. We had more Catholics than we probably had more Protestants. And Lent was a huge thing, and seafood was a huger thing on Fridays. And so, it's supposed to be a time where we are denying ourselves joy, or denying ourselves things that would be extravagant. But instead on Fridays, we'd be like, let's go to the catfish house, and all you can eat catfish and we can't breathe, and all the hush. Like, I don't know if that's the point. But it's for us just to take our mind's attention, our heart's affection for 40 days, and to say, I'm going to take away something that I like, or something that I think about often, and I'm going to replace it with the Lord. And I'm going to be sad that I don't have it. And that's okay, because in the sadness, I'm reminded of the sadness that the Lord walked through on our behalf, taking the wrath of God, drinking it fully, and allowing us now to walk in freedom. So let's not, as Southern Baptists, jump to arrogance to say liturgical leanings of other denominations don't matter just because they're not ours. I think they're really important for us, at least to be curious about, and to consider how we can use them in our own personal walk with the Lord Jesus.
Yeah. I would just add a few things. One is, so why would we not practice those things? And I think it goes back, you mentioned it briefly, is the intent of it, right?
Yeah,
and so if I'm not careful, I'll walk over into those things thinking I have to do that to earn God's grace, one, or two, that it's focused on me instead of where my attention needs to be set. So I think those are things to guard against, is like, what's the motive behind doing these things? And I believe these are good practices as long as we understand that they are solely to draw your attention to Christ and his work. And so I think the second thing I would mention is, so where do you start? Maybe you don't practice Lent.
Right. Yeah.
And I would encourage you start with Holy Week. Start. What a great time to take this moment and really have an intentional focus to think about, here's all the things that Christ experienced walking to the cross and up to his resurrection. And he did those things so that I could experience life.
Right.
To feel and know and see the weight of that, I think, is important. And so if maybe you go, how do I start? What do I do? Well, hey, start somewhere. Like start. Maybe it's this Saturday. Maybe you're late in Holy Week. Pick up now, or this Saturday, just spend a moment reflecting and thinking about what Christ did on the cross. And then as you approach Sunday, that we're going to celebrate his resurrection, I would say to anyone out there, start somewhere. Right?
Can I give you a passage to consider? So what we read yesterday in the Lord's Supper is 1 Corinthians 11. And Paul, the Corinthians were cray-cray, right? So they didn't do life too well. Matter of fact, they were, if you think your family's dysfunctional, read the Corinthian letters, and you're like, you know what? Maybe we're not so bad, right? And the beauty of it is God still loves them. Now, he's got some harsh words for him, but he still loves them. But if you go to 1 Corinthians chapter 11, Paul is going to line out, particularly the Lord's Supper, like remembering Jesus, and he gives them here's what I have against you. And a lot of it has to do with the way that you love God and the way that you love people, or the lack thereof, both of those things.
Yeah.
And I think one of the easiest places to start isn't in the minutia of religiosity, like trying to
Right.
figure out, am I religious this way or this way? If the two greatest commandments are the same thing, to love God and to love people, what ways am I doing that well and what ways am I not? And in the not, don't just say, okay, well, I'm not doing that well. God, I confess this to you, and then move on. Live in that for a moment. That's,
Yeah.
I think one of the lines that I've used, and I've mentioned this before, but if you don't have the app called Lectio Divina, it is a fantastic app. It's a devotional app that is really helpful. Did I say that right, Lectio Divina?
Yeah, you did. But I was going to say,
Do it.
once again, another ancient practice.
Yes.
So
that is an
not
ancient
new,
practice.
new app.
No, new
but
app. I
Old
want to make
practice.
sure I'm giving you the right one. But the whole premise being that it is a prayer morning, noon, and night. And it's simply just to sit and to hear the word read over you. And you rest in that word. Well, with that, you can sit during this time of Lent, and it's called the bright sadness, right? So it is something beautiful because you have the cross getting ever closer every day. So it's beautiful, it's bright, but there's a sadness to it because the more you look at it, the more you realize the reason he's on there is because of me.
Right.
Like I deserve that, and I did that. So it's a double sadness that like he took my place, but the people that when we heard yesterday, the jeers, the mocking, the actual physical altercations to him, that if it wasn't them, if I were there, that would be me.
Yeah.
And so there's a sadness to it. And there's something beautiful in all of it that he gets, like he is walking with the cross on his back, and he could have prayed anything. He could have prayed, God, get them. God, destroy them. They hate you. They hate me. But he didn't. He said, Father, forgive them because they don't know what they're doing. That is amazing. That when he dies, when he breathes his last breath and he says, it is finished, and the veil is torn, and you see there's this picture, and I think we're going to talk about it on Sunday. There's this centurion who's watching, and it's like scales fall from his mind's eye, and he finally says, after it's over, like it couldn't be before because it was the purpose of what had to happen. It was after it was over, he said, surely this was the Son of God. He couldn't have said that 30 seconds before that because the darkness had veiled his eyes. And what Jesus did took that veil away.
Yeah.
And that is part of the beauty of the sadness that Jesus had to walk through to get us there. That's why this week is so vitally important for us.
Yeah.
It takes the darkness and makes it light.
Yeah. Lectio 365.
Yes. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Lectio Divina is the practice that has lived on forever.
The app is Lectio 365.
Lectio 365. It is a green and blue app with an arrow that's pointing to the right. Check it out. It's
Yes. There you go.
Don't let me lead you astray.
And if I could encourage the parents who are listening, you need your own personal study for sure, but your kids need your help. They need you to lead them into Bible reading, into deeper study. And this week would be a great time to start that. And maybe you haven't been doing that so far, or maybe you're sporadic, but I would encourage you to get more consistent because the research suggests that if you're reading your Bible at least 4 times a week, then it drastically increases the influence that Christ will have on your kids' life. So.
Yeah.
So you have any suggestions for us of where we can look for those family devotions?
We have a Holy Week devotionals that we've published. I will be posting on the kids' social media later today, Monday, March 30th. And I will post some suggestions, so go check it out there. But there's several good resources out there. Bright Curriculum has a good one. Lifeway has one that's pretty good too. So find one, use it. But we'd love for you to use ours. It's good too.
Yeah. And to throw a little bit of encouragement out there for a former member of our staff who owns now a cookie shop. So Pepper Carter owns Whimsy Cookie. Her and Alan own Whimsy Cookie here. And they, I think last year started, but this year kind of made it incredibly robust, which is their...
That's what our family's doing, actually.
We've been doing that. We do it every morning because our
Wait,
kids
I don't
love
know
the
about this.
cookies.
What is it?
So she took 8 days, so starting on Palm Sunday, going to Easter Sunday, and you have a cookie each day. And so the cookie represents something special about that day. So Easter Sunday, or Palm Sunday yesterday was, of course, palm branches.
Right.
Today was the fig leaf or the fig tree. And then you scan the QR code on the cookie. So it's individually wrapped box. So in a giant box, it's beautiful. Of course, Pepper would do that. And then a devotion pops up. And it's a short devotion. Like it gives you a little bit of the history,
Right.
gives you a little bit of the right now, and gives you a little bit of some questions you can ask your kids
fantastic.
while they're munching on the cookies.
Yep.
Yeah.
So good. It takes
stuff.
less than 4 minutes, and they eat the cookie while it's going on. Super cool.
Fantastic.
Yeah, great job, Pepper.
Awesome stuff.
I would love eating the cookie.
Yes.
They are cookies. I
They-
wish. So if Pepper, if you're taking any kind of encouragement along the way, you need a cookie for them and a cookie for parents. So
There
we
you
could do a
go.
couple
An ad.
cookies.
Yes.
That'd be great.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hey, there are a couple directions we could go, and
So choose your own adventure,
Yeah,
Mike.
I know it is.
So
It
choose
is.
our
And
adventure
I'm
course.
looking at our time, and I'm looking at, hey, where can we take this? Yeah, so I think this will be an interesting conversation. I think, Sean, you said this may have come up in your life group or in a life group. Maybe a conversation around, as we think about the timeline of Holy Week, and we think about Palm Sunday.
Palm Sunday. Yep.
Jesus comes in and people are cheering, waving palm branches, Hosanna, all the things. And then in 24 hours,
All of a sudden things start shifting.
yep.
Yeah.
And people are yelling, crucify him,
Yeah.
just a short while later. How is it that people would shift that quickly
Yeah,
and
that is
easily?
that is the question.
Yeah.
I mean, so,
Yeah.
I mean, to literally, and I think one of the things you see is gospel writers will often refer to the crowd, and then you'll see the crowd later, which there's some implications that not everybody in the crowd
Sure.
said those things, but there's a sense that some of the same people that said Hosanna, God save us, are some of the same people that say crucify him. And so what are the things? And we ventured down the road are, a lot of it you see is that the people that day they were longing for a Messiah, but they were longing for a Messiah to save them from the Romans.
Right.
And so there was some misplaced expectation on who Jesus was and what he was going to do and accomplish for them. And so you see this thing where he's riding into the city and they're all for him, and then all of a sudden he's arrested. And so their hope for a possible king that would overthrow Rome is now gone.
Yep.
And so in that we talked a little bit about so as we think about ourselves, what expectations do we place on Christ as well? Do we come to him almost demanding or wanting certain things? And can we be as fickle as those crowds
Yeah.
in our following of him? And so just something I think to explore, like Holy Week. There you go. That's a great exploration of what's in my heart that would be something that I go, oh, because I'm not experiencing this, or I don't have this, or God has not answered this prayer that now I'm going to go my own way. And I think those are valid things to explore. I think the other thing is, do you have a little bit of a mob mentality? Like I'm gonna follow along even in the proclamation of God save us. Like Hosanna, you're the Messiah, you're the King. Is there a mob mentality that, I'll go along with the crowd until something weird happens or something bad happens, and then I'm gonna let that go. What does commitment, devotion, true faith look like in those moments? But just a lot of things to explore there inside of that case of Palm Sunday to that Friday when he's crucified.
Yes.
Yeah.
I find so much comfort in the fact that when you zoom in and you say, I remember being a kid reading the Old Testament thinking, you idiots, how can you guys, especially
Right.
the judges,
Yeah.
and again, they did what was right in their own eyes. I'm like, you idiots, how could you do that? And as I've gotten older, it's like, I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
I've
That's
done
right.
that. And so when I read the Holy Week narrative, I'm like, you idiots, how in the world can you go from Hosanna to crucify him? And I'm like, oh, wait, no. Yeah,
I do the same thing.
That was yesterday, right?
Yeah,
So I can wake up and say, Lord, I love you and my life belongs to you. You are sovereign over all things. And by noon, I'm like, I got to figure this out. I don't know what to do. I don't know how this is going to work out. So I got to do X, Y, and Z. It's the same thing. But when you zoom out of that, what was beautiful is we criticize them, but you don't see Jesus ever criticizing them.
Right.
Matter of fact, he goes to the Father as the better word, because the enemy is the great deceiver.
Right.
He's the one that's going to go to the Father and say, look at them. They hate your son. They hate what you did. And so he's given that. And then Jesus is our advocate who stands while we are mocking him, while we are physically accosting him. And he stands on our behalf still and says, Father,
Yes.
don't hold it against them. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. God, forgive them.
Yes.
I'm
right.
going to do this. I am taking this on me. I'm going to drink the wrath. Don't touch them, God. They're yours.
Yeah.
Like there's something beautiful to that, because we are an absolute hot mess. Not just a little bit, an absolute totality of a hot mess. Jesus knew that and loved us anyway. That is something beautiful about what this Holy
Absolutely.
Week shows.
Yes.
When you zoom out a little bit and don't look so much at the us in the picture, but when we look at the him in the picture.
That's good.
It shows us a beautiful picture of, even in spite of us, in the moments of our deepest, darkest sin, he still is advocating in a better word over us.
Yeah.
It's good, man.
Yeah.
It's so good. So good. So I know that today wasn't really, we weren't really talking about a sermon like we normally do. It was a little bit of a different conversation, but this was really good.
It was great.
Yeah.
Really,
We're so
really
thankful to have
enjoyed
Thomas
it.
in the
Appreciate
room.
it.
Yeah, yep.
Always
to be
Sean in the
here.
room.
Yeah. So for our listeners, you would have heard this hopefully by now in lots of different places, but if you haven't heard it, we want to repeat it here just in case. Easter is coming up. It's this weekend. So it is this weekend. Yeah. In case you didn't get that in all the conversation we just had, this is Holy Week. So we have a different schedule this weekend. And so we are having our first Easter service on Saturday night at 6 p.m., and then 2 services on Sunday morning, one at 9:30 and one at 11. And so make plans now.
Yeah.
Come to one of those services.
Yeah,
Be a part of it.
childcare available for birth through 3 years old.
At all services.
all those services. Also, those with special needs, if you need Grace Ministry for care for those, that will only be offered during the 9:30 service.
Kids and adults.
Kids and adults. Yeah, that's right. And then no reservations required. Just come on, choose a service, come on. I think the other thing I would say is what a great time to invite a neighbor.
Oh, yeah.
Like what a great time to look across the street. And we have, if you are a part of our church, if you're here on Wednesday night, or you can walk in. We're open during the day. You can walk in around the Commons area. There's some small little business card invites that you could actually use to invite a neighbor, a coworker. But what a great time to invite someone to come and celebrate alongside you. The victory.
Can I tell
that we
a quick story that pertains to what an invitation will do? And what happened yesterday. So yesterday I'm walking, I try to make it around the entirety of the sanctuary at some point, just walking around saying hello to people. And I'm walking by the front row, right, when I come into the sanctuary. And there's 2 ladies who typically come every single week. They're the Brittnys. And they're a part of the Crossroads ministry, and they've gone through that ministry, but now they're ministering in that ministry.
What does Crossroads really
Crossroads
does?
ministry is for women who have had a past of whether it's drug abuse or any kind of hurt on themselves, either that they have brought on themselves because of action or choices, or what others have caused them to have. And so it's a beautiful ministry here in Jackson. But women come from all over to be a part of it. And so the Brittnys have been a part of our church, I'd say at least for the last year, faithfully. On the front row, you would see them, and they're worshiping faithfully and true. And this week I walked in, there's 3 ladies in the front row, and I'm walking by, and I make sure I look at them in the eyes to say hello. And the new lady's face strikes me, and I'm like, I know you. And she's looking at me, looking at her. And I said, Jessica? And she got scared. And I said, I'm sorry, is your name Jessica Geluso? And she said, how do you know me? And I said, my name is Josh Brady. And she was like, who? And I said, oh yeah, I forgot. My name's Josh Rubion. Because if you remember my story, my name doesn't change until I'm 9, right? This is my friend that grew up 4 houses down from me. We lived on a road that had 5 houses, so there were We were number 1. They were number 5 on the thing. And when my mom would go to work at 5 a.m. in the morning, she worked 5 to 5. Hello.
Wow, I'm so sorry.
Hello, Lori Haight. 5 to 5. I would go to their house every single day. I have not seen her since the 6th grade.
Wow.
Because at 6th grade, we went to middle school and she ended up going to a different school. And I haven't seen her since 6th grade.
Wow.
But every day up until that day, I was at their house morning and evening before school and after school. Her mama took care of me growing up. It was unbelievable that she, through life experiences, has found her way into Crossroads, went through as a person going through the ministry, is now living independently, not really affiliated with a church. And her 2 friends, Brittany, said, I really think you would like this church. And she said, I don't want to go to a church. I think they're going to judge me there. I think I don't want to go there. Like Madison, I'm not going to Madison. I'm not going to that church. So she shows up. And it's my friend from my earliest of days. And she said, what are you doing here? I was like, I'm the pastor here. And she just starts weeping. And she said, I want to come back to this church. I want to be here every week. Can I be here this Sunday? I said, Jessica, you could be here any Sunday that you want to be here. It is the beauty of what an invitation can do.
That's right.
So even if you have to say, because I know Madison sometimes gets a bad rap, like, oh man, I'm not going to that church. I'm not going with those people. Just invite them and let God make the connections.
That's right.
Listen to me. I was overjoyed to see my friend's face again and to see what God was doing, even when she didn't know his name.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think she fully understands yet the beauty of the sovereignty of God and how he is drawing a line in her life back to himself and using people along the way to invite her. This week could be an opportunity for you to do that for somebody else simply by saying, hey, would you come sit with me?
Yeah.
Just come sit with me on Saturday night or Sunday morning and let that story begin to unfold in the way that God would have it. It's amazing what God does through a simple invitation of you just saying, hey, will you come and sit with me this week? Find a friend, invite them to come sit with you, and watch what God will do.
Yep.
So good.
So good.
Well, looking forward to Easter and see you all there. And we'll do this again next week.
Yeah, man. Love you guys.
Love you guys.
Love you.